Coming up tonight, British businesses on the way for a big trade mission. The impact expected to be felt throughout the archipelago. Plus, residential upgrades. The new housing minister on Grand Bahama recently, and good news is on the way for the second city. And later, our TV set to premiere a Bahamian game show. Put on your thinking caps, lots of cash up for grabs. These stories and more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. British businesses are gearing up for a big trade mission to the Bahamas next month. One the British High Commissioner says hasn't been seen at this scale in a long time. And the opportunities don't stop in Nassau. Our Marlena Leonard reports.
There'll be a flight of British businesses coming from London to Nassau on the 2nd of October. This is our first big trade mission in a long, long time. This is in response to the PM's visit to London in May, where he gave some speeches in Parliament and encouraged more trade to come, and this is a result of that.
British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley says the companies span infrastructure and professional services industries, including steel, aggregate and insurance companies. And they won't only be in the capital.
And they're really coming to the Bahamas to see how can we invest, how can we trade, how can we bring our expertise, underwritten by UK finance. That's what the offer comes with as well. And they're going to have a couple of days here in Nassau, and then they're going to go to Freeport as well to look at projects there. And people are really excited.
The visitors will be hosted by the Chambers of Commerce, and Hartley says it's only amplified by the enthusiasm of some of our own ministers.
And there's a lot of pent-up demand and supply from the UK that could make a big difference. And the Bahamian government's been fantastically supportive so far, including kind of ministers being willing to meet with the trade mission themselves, but also reducing duty and tariffs on imports from the UK as part of the UK-Caribbean trade agreement. That makes it cheaper for British companies to export to the Bahamas, which makes it cheaper to build, cheaper to sell, cheaper to invest for Bahamian companies as well.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks so much, Marlena. Well, more upgrades are soon to come in some residential areas in Grand Bahama. Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal Keith Bell and Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxey touring several communities in Grand Bahama this week to make an assessment. Minister Moxey revealing there is a lot of work to be done.
We are now in the Garden Villas area that requires numerous issues to be addressed. One of them is housing. You can see many of these dilapidated structures that exist, and the Honorable Keith Bell has made it a priority to focus on this area as one of the initial projects that we will undertake on this island. And so we're going to continue. We've had meetings this morning with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, also with the Grand Bahama Development Company.
Moxey says she is excited that action is on the way.
Because there's so much that our people have been going through, and so we are working hand in hand. That's the Ministry for Grand Bahama, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal, to ensure that we not only bring relief, but that we revitalize these communities. And I'm just excited that we are all in this together. We're going to be working hand in hand together.
Earlier this week, we revealed that new nurses are being trained to enter the medical field under a new program launched by the Public Hospitals Authority. But what does the program cover, and what type of training will be included? Managing Director of the PHA, Dr. Abinette Roll, says the course will expose student nurses to an introductory course in fundamental nursing. The 18-month program covers topics including communication, patient safety, body alignment, nutrition, oxygen administration, and more. Roll had this to say to the aspiring nurses.
Each day, remind yourself of the lives you will touch and the difference you will make in the lives of others. Your commitment to providing quality care will touch hearts, bring comfort, and give hope to those in need. Lean on your classmates for support and collaboration. Together, you can create an environment that fosters teamwork, understanding, and mutual growth. Cherish the moments of shared knowledge and experiences that will shape not only your professional journey, but also life-learned friendships.
30 officers and healthcare workers are now certified to handle people with mental health issues at the Department of Corrections. The group went through rigorous training to achieve the certification. National Security Minister Wayne Monroe stressing the importance of the facility being certified to deal with mental illnesses.
And so I hear you, Commissioner Clare, saying you have 149 mentally challenged. I suspect that you have 149 identified mentally challenged, with many who may be challenged but not yet displayed. The reason for the training of these correctional officers is so that they may be aware of the signs to look for, to identify persons to include in that list.
Monroe reminded the public that 99% of inmates will be released back into the public. As a result, he says it's important that they are in a condition to safely re-enter society.
That is the challenge. That is the challenge on the commissioner, on every correctional officer here, on the mental health and medical staff that is in this facility for the first time. That is the challenge. I look forward to the day when I will not be able to say that I'm advising the public of the release of a sexual offender who has mental issues. That means that he is still a danger.
It's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie is standing by in the Weather Center. Ian?
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome everyone to our first look at weather. Currently outside our studios, we're in a few clouds with a temperature of 85, but a warm, muggy temperature feels like of 92 degrees. Our winds are out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. Current conditions across the entire country right now. Freeport City, we have 83, 84 in Marsh Harbor, Great Harbor Key, and Alistown, Bimini, 86, 85 in Nicholstown, 85 in Nassau, and 84 in Governor's Harbor. In the Central Bahamas, we have 85 in Arthurstown, Cat Island, also in Georgetown, 84 in Camps Bay, 86 in Deadman's Key, Long Island, and the cool spot in the Central Bahamas this evening is Coburn Towns in Salvador, coming in at 81. In the Southeast Bahamas, we have 86s in Duncantown, Ragged Island, Delectable Bay, Acklands, and Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, 85 in Abrahams Bay, Maguana, and 84 in Providenciales, the Turks and Caicos, rounding up our temperature profile in the Deep South, Matthewtown and Agua at 86 degrees. Taking a first look at our satellite and radar imagery at this time, we still see streaming moisture coming up from the southwest across the islands. This is courtesy of some upper level support, and we also have low level troughing across the northwest Bahamas. This will continue to fire pockets of showers and thunderstorms across our area. Stay tuned, your extended forecast and your tropical weather outlook is straight ahead.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, a new 5-year partnership inked by BTVI. More international opportunities on the horizon for students. Plus, the education minister calling on partnership from local stakeholders. This amid the ongoing communication challenges in the classroom. The details when Our News Weekend returns.
Collect verse access is as easy as grab a collect, scan a collect. Open your camera app, focus on the QR code, and click the link that appears. You own your collect verse experience. Take selfies, join the cultural referendum, and share with your friends. See content from local chefs, Olympic athletes, and cultural icons. Collect is proud to be 50. Grab a collect, scan a collect. Get in the collect verse today.
The Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute forging a new partnership this week. Officials signed a letter of intent with Algonquin College. Officials say the 5-year partnership will strengthen cooperation while providing international educational opportunities to enhance both institutions. Good news for students. As for the opportunities available, Canadian High Commissioners had this to say about the partnership.
This agreement will focus on hospitality and tourism programs, in addition to technical training in construction, aesthetics, and massage therapy. At the same time, both institutions are exploring specific opportunities to provide articulation options to BTVI students into Algonquin programs. What is most important, of course, is ensuring that the highest quality education is available to our young people through cooperation such as this between our educators, researchers, and students, with a focus on the blue, green, and circular economies and sustainability issues.
Meantime, the back and forth over Cuban teachers continues. Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson raised the alarm a few weeks ago, noting that there have been complaints of Cuban teachers unable to effectively communicate with students. While the Education Minister, Glenys Hannah Martin, says the partnership with Cuba has produced special education and technical and vocational teachers for the Family Islands. She's inviting stakeholders to partner in the issue.
I am inviting all Bahamians and families and parents, and you know, parents. I think that parents understand the issue in these schools. That we work with these scenarios to ensure that our children are able to have access to education that would not otherwise be available because we don't have it available in the Bahamas.
Bahamas Educators Managerial Union President Stephen McPhee weighing in on the Cuban teachers issue. He says unions, including BEMU, should be consulted during the vetting process to ensure that prospective teachers are well suited. He adds while there are those that struggle with English, many of the Cuban teachers he has come in contact with during his career have benefited the system greatly.
The Cuban teachers, even with the language barrier, is a big plus. When we're talking about the special needs areas, we find that they bring, honestly, a fresh new approach with some current training, practices and methods that we find beneficial. However, they must be undergirded with support of a Bahamian teacher who can acclimatize them to the culture and also assist with the language.
And when our news comes back from the break, 8 schools to be a part of the government's free breakfast pilot program. And Shakespeare in Paradise is back. Students of a local high school enjoyed the Bahamian adaptation of As I Like It. We have their exciting response on the other side of the break.
Doctors Hospital is reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Welcome back. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin announcing the launch of a free breakfast pilot program at 8 schools in the Bahamas this October. The pilot program is aimed at improving attendance and productivity among students. At a cost of $1 million for the academic year, the program will provide breakfast 3 days per week to all students. She explains how the 8 schools were chosen.
The schools were chosen based on data as to potential student challenges. And they targeted schools that had populations below 600 and where attendance rates were below 89.2% in the primary schools. Now, research has shown globally that breakfast programs provide support for struggling families, fuel student health and learning, provide nutritional support for children, lead to better attendance rates and fewer missed days, and higher student performance.
She says the program will cater to about 2,500 children throughout the nation. The meals were also designed to be very nutritious.
Those meals have been designed in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the caterers to ensure that what we are delivering is not just food, but nutritious meals first thing for these students 3 days a week.
Shakespeare in Paradise is back with this year's adaptation of As You Like It, opening just a few days ago. They've continued the tradition of matinee performances for students, using the Bahamian-flavored adaptation to help introduce the next generation to the world of Shakespeare. English and literature teacher at Jordan's Prince William's Baptist School, Yannick Parks, says the immersive and visual learning helps today's kids engage with the classics.
They get excited and passionate because they're seeing the live action being brought forward. It's not just hearing the words being said or having persons just throwing the words that you're not understanding whatever they are saying. But you can see there's a relaxed motion on their face. They get to relate, they get to interact, and they get to enjoy it at the same time. And therefore, it encourages them to even want to be more into literature and reading at that. So it's a really spectacular job, and I hope the theatre company continues its work. My grade 7s, they enjoyed it the other day. The grade 8s, they are ecstatic. They want to come back next week. However, different grades come in. So I hope that everyone can encourage their students to actually come and be a part. It's something new, it's something fresh. It's not IMAX. And therefore, they get to see the characters as live as possible.
And the kids share the sentiment, many saying they're excited to come back and watch again with their families.
Have you ever heard of Shakespeare before today?
No, Mom.
What did you think of the show?
It was very romantic.
Yeah?
I love shows like that.
Do you have any interest in maybe acting yourself one day?
Yes, Mom.
So what was it like to see Bahamian actors on stage?
It was like, I heard a bit, but I never watched it. It was good. It was very funny though.
And coming to a television near you, a new Bahamian spelling bee game show set to launch on Our TV this Monday. Stick with us.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show where you can SPELL to win MULAH. I think that's how you spell moolah. Kaleidoscope, descendant, elevator.
EOLOGNA.
Pharmaceutical.
Pharmaceutical. Come on, bro. Pharmaceutical.
We're officially wrapping up the weekend, but as to what you can expect weather-wise for your work week, well, meteorologist Ian McKenzie is back with your extended forecast.
Thanks, Megan. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at your extended forecast and the tropical outlook. Currently, we have what was TD 17 yesterday. Tropical Depression 17 has now formed and became Tropical Storm Philippe. That is well out there. No threat to land at this time. It is expected to continue on that track away from everyone. Closer towards the Windward Islands, we have a tropical wave. Not much in terms of intensity with that system. Not much showers or thunderstorms organized, to say the least. We also have an area that is being watched by the National Hurricane Center at this time. This area also has a low chance for a tropical cyclone formation. None of these systems pose any threat to the Bahamas. Across our area, we still have troughing. That's just an elongated area of low pressure. However, these could trigger pockets of showers and thunderstorms throughout the course of the night, pretty much into tomorrow as well. Take a look at a boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas. We have winds east to southeast 10 to 15 knots. Our seas will be running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, and you can expect a low tide tonight at 10:34 p.m. For the southeast Bahamas, we are asking you boaters to exercise caution. We also have a risk of rip currents for you swimmers. Winds will be easterly at 15 to 20 knots. Your seas will be running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look at your national forecast. And in your extended forecast, you can expect precipitation pretty much throughout the course of the week. We do expect a frontal boundary to come near us just to the extreme northwest Bahamas, stall out, and produce some unsettled weather across our area throughout the course of the week. However, that should put temperatures more on the mild side, so we'll be looking at highs into the mid to upper 80s, with our low temperatures dipping down to the mid to low 70s. That's a wrap on your forecast for this evening. Have a great one.
BEEHAMIAN, Bahamian. That's the name of the newest game show produced and hosted by Jaquay Adderley, better known as Das Quay. The entertainer and host says as a creative, he loves to stay in a creative space.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show where you can SPELL to win MULAH. I think that's how you spell moolah. When I get inspiration, it normally comes in a hunch. And I feel like once you get a hunch, you got to go to lunch, which means you go in the kitchen and cook up whatever ideas, whatever inspirations you get. So randomly one day, pondering, I'm like, is there any game shows happening right now? I knew of one or two, but there wasn't any at the present time. So, what can I do now to bring some entertainment for the people? Because that's what I love, to entertain people. And I'm like, hey, let's do a game show. What could I do? And after weighing out options, I settled on a spelling bee, and Bahamian was born.
And as to why a spelling bee?
I think it was easiest versus all of the other game shows where you need sound, light, there's a spelling bee show and I can't pronounce intricacies. You can't even say it. So the intricacies of putting on a game show, and I wanted to do something different from what has been done before, like the Family Feuds or the question games.
Adderley says he's thankful to have a great team and support system that allows him to let his personality shine. Now the show will have 8 episodes where contestants have the opportunity to win money.
Each contestant gets the chance to win up to $500. Please watch to the 8th episode. Something crazy happens, but it's going to be very entertaining. You're going to enjoy it. Somebody win $5. You could win up to $500. Somebody won $5.
Bahamian premieres September 25th on our TV channel 212 at 8 p.m. Adderley says the show promises to be entertaining and will feature some of your favorite Bahamian influencers.
You have photographers, you have entertainers, you have TikTokers, you have artists, you have persons in government. Just pulling on different aspects just to really get the word out there about the show, and to show that anybody, everybody is welcomed on the show to have fun. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. Spelling words is hard for you. That rhymed just now.
And for the record, I have officially signed up the Our TV team for an in-house spelling competition. Thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.